Hola, ¿qué tal? Hoy vamos a hablar sobre Adam Stockhausen. ¿Que no saben quién es? Oh, ¿no han escuchado sobre alguna de las películas en las cuales ha trabajado? ¿No? Bueno, pues tienen suerte porque hoy hablaremos sobre él. Adam nació un 30 de noviembre de 1972 en Wisconsin. En 1995 se graduó del departamento de teatro y en 1999 se graduó en la Escuela de Drama de Yale. En la primera película en la que trabajó fue como director de arte en 2003 en Ash Tuesday, un largometraje independiente donde él demostró todo su talento. Así pasando a 2007 trabajó como director de arte en la película Across the Universe. Y en ese mismo año fue supervisor de arte en su primera película con Wes Anderson, Dearly Limited. La primera película en la que participó como diseñador de producción fue en el cortometraje que apareció en el largometraje 8 del 2008. Después de eso solo se dedicó al diseño de producción. Bueno, ya guardo silencio porque Adam nos va a explicar.
Hi, I'm Adam Stockhausen. I'm a production designer. This is how I helped create some of the worlds of Wes Anderson. The production designer works with the art department. What we basically do is the physical environment of the film. You'll read a script and it'll say you're in a monastery at the top of the Himalayas, or you're in a train station in Prague, or you're standing in front of the Berlin Wall. Then you turn to the production designer and say, okay, how do we do that? I've worked with the director Steve McQueen on 12 Years a Slave. I've worked with Steven Spielberg on a number of films. We made Bridge of Spies together, Ready Player One together, and we made West Side Story together. I started designing with Wes on Moonrise Kingdom. Then we did French Dispatch. We did Grand Budapest Hotel. I co-designed Isle of Dogs with Paul Herod, and most recently we made Asteroid City together. Working on any film, you're starting with a script, you're starting with research, and you're starting with a conversation about what is the world of the film, what does this space look like, where are we? With Wes's films, we're very often breaking the movie down frame by frame, shot by shot, and there are wild changes in between those shots where on another film you might go to a location and you'll do all the different angles within that space sort of somewhat naturalistically. When you look this way, you'll really look this way. When you look that way, you'll actually turn the camera around and look that way. That's not necessarily true a lot of times on Wes's films, where each angle will actually be broken apart into its own set or its own location and will actually manipulate space, and that requires a intensity of planning.
Datos curiosos de Adam Stockhausen. ¿Sabían que, curiosamente, él no sabe cómo hacer una película de Wes Anderson? No, es en serio. Él ha dicho que, curiosamente, todavía no sabe cómo hacer una película de él, porque realmente todo empieza desde cero y pues no existen anillos mágicos, no es una fórmula, todo tiene que hacerse desde cero.
We had to take this building and figure out the physical space of this hotel. It had everything to do with Rafe's character. One thing that I found very inspiring was just that he's very exact and very particular.
Have those been brushed and blocked?
Of course, Monsieur Gustave.
Pack them in the hat boxes. Is that from Oberstdorf Company?
I believe so, Mr.
Second
Gustave.
trunk. Who has the tickets?
I do, Monsieur Gustave.
Give them to me.
We tried to be up to that level with the hotel, things being in place and in order and polished. All kinds of other little sets were buried within this building, and then our production offices were on the top floor of it, so it became kind of this hive for Grand Budapest Hotel.
It was off-season, and by that time decidedly out of fashion, and it had already begun its descent into shabbiness and eventual demolition.
Because there's a sort of flashback structure to the film, as the audience, you first meet the hotel in the 1960s.
We knew that we wanted to shoot the 60s hotel and the 30s hotel back to back. So in effect, we created a set within a set.
We built the first one, then we built the 1960s, and then we shot it backwards and peeled away the 1960s layer and kind of exposed the earlier period hotel inside of it.
Otro dato curioso sobre Adam Stockhausen es que ha hecho 19 películas siendo diseñador de producción. Así es, él ha hecho 19. Y va por la 20 con una película llamada Blitz en Reino Unido. Y ya para agregar a los datos, ha sido nominado 4 veces al Oscar y solo ha ganado uno con The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Thank you to the Academy for this award.
Y bueno, les dejo una última entrevista con Adam Stockhausen.
What is the biggest misconception people have about what you do?
I think that people don't realize just how much it's about organization. You know, people think that it's sort of drawing or dreaming stuff up, and that part of it exists and is really fun and wonderful. But there's this huge part of it that is working with the big machine that is a film shooting crew and figuring out how they move through all these disparate locations and manage to make it all work and find stuff that looks right for the film but is also achievable from a budget point of view and from a physical space and time point of view. When you're dealing with a house that's in a certain section of Brooklyn and then you've got to get across town to a diner or wherever you're going next, you end up doing a lot of logistical work, both with money but also with space and time to kind of make that happen. And I don't think people quite realize that Excel is such a big part of it, you know?